What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. This one is entitled um, The Affirmative Action Hustle. Talked about this before. Um, Mindy Kaplan's brother came out again. They put him in the news again about using affirmative action to get ahead. This is my problem. This is why I call it a hustle. Because affirmative action initially was something that was meant for black men because of what went on in America. And everybody else jumped on the bandwagon and got involved, and now their affirmative action is quote unquote for everybody. But it's a hustle because these people who jump into affirmative action, they prove themselves to be incompetent when they get to the spot. Forget the education part. When they get to the position that they want to be in using affirmative action, they prove themselves incompetent. But they turn around and blame black people in general, but black men in particular. And that's funny. That's why I call it a hustle. What I mean by that is, take women. White women can, for some odd reason, are a minority. But who's benefited off of affirmative action more than anybody? White women. Because they're a minority while being part of the majority. But if they're incompetent, they won't say they got hired from affirmative action. They'll blame a non-white coworker if they don't do their job right. It's because of those affirmative action hires. But you used affirmative action to get hired. Don't shake your head and play stupid now. You know you did. I know you did. You know you did. But you gonna act like that didn't happen. You got black women who say, I can check two boxes. I'm a woman and I'm black. And the irony of that is, when you deal with most businesses, and I hate to say this, sisters, but most people, when they see a black woman in the corporate setting, they're like, I'm not going to get nothing done. She's just going to come here and give me attitude and run me off because she don't know what she's doing. That's how people look at it. And who do you blame? Affirmative action. Now, not white women, not black women, there's black men who got hired from affirmative action. But the way it pans out right now, either he's got to be a sellout or act like a sellout in the interview process, or be effeminate or homosexual. Being a black man, you gotta be either a sellout or homosexual. Don't have to be, but those are the first, those are the black men that will be hired first. Sellout, homosexual, then heterosexual black men. Now, who is the highest population in the community? Heterosexual black men. But they're the least to get hired between sellouts, homosexuals, and heterosexuals. So when you see these black men in public, the hustle is they used agreeing with white supremacy, or or buying into it, or the LGBT flag, right? So when you see brothers in public, now you're like, that's why either brothers is bougie or they're a little sweet. But those two groups wasn't who it was intended for. Same thing with, you know, Hispanics, Asians, same thing. You know, how that we should have affirmative action for blah blah. You know, people shouldn't use that to get ahead, but you used it to get ahead, didn't you? Now this is why I say it's a hustle also, because all these groups that use affirmative action to get ahead of black people and black men in particular form like Voltron, turn around and try to slam the door to make sure black men don't get in any position. White women hire other white women, black women hire other black women, Hispanics hire other Hispanics, Asians hire other Asians, so on and so forth. You know, sellouts, if they're black, they can only hire other sellouts. Homosexuals only go hire other homosexuals. But when it plays out in society, people don't want to say this, but this is how it plays out. You might get a heterosexual black man or couple in the spot, and the first thing that happens is everybody comes together and is like, you must be unqualified. Now you can be in a room full of unqualified people, but they will look at you as unqualified. They gotta question you harder. Make sure you're smarter. Are you on all your P's and Q's? Do you know all of this information? And then, you answer all of the trivial questions that makes them say, you speak real well. You educated. You're not like the rest of them. And then over time, you're looking at the people around you like, you're idiots. You're really stupid. But see, nobody questioned them. Nobody questioned them. So now what happens? Now you stuck around incompetent people. And this is why your last hired, first fired things come into play. Because all of these people who came together, they know they're incompetent. They're just passing the buck of incompetence from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until it's time to hire somebody new. And when they need a fall guy, they hire your black male heterosexual ass, dump it on you, you get blamed for it, you're the first fired, you got to go. And then nobody ever says, wait a minute, now that this guy's fired and everybody has their powwow and congratulations, told you they were unqualified. Then the same thing happens again with these same people. This same group of people still can't get nothing done. The same group of people are still getting paid to do nothing. You walk by them and they playing on the phone, they playing on the internet, they're walking around, they're trying to make it look like they're working. The customers of your business don't like coming there. The sales start going down. The people that you take care of in your field are starting to really get agitated with you. So now the managers and general managers and the CEOs have to smooth over stuff at the top to make sure the business is running right, because the people underneath the managerial level are just epically messing things up. And you blame all of this incompetence on affirmative action. But you don't blame all the groups involved at first or second or third or fourth. It don't hit you. It's this, got all these unqualified people with affirmative action who can't do things right, but you're not looking at your team. Now, what winds up happening is you got either wise people or older people who've been around the block long enough, and they go, you don't know what you're doing. 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 This is when these quote-unquote older corporate white dudes come in and just cuss everybody out. And everybody just sits there. And they take it, because now you're in a room full of people who've used affirmative action to get in these positions, and now the quote-unquote big dog came through, and he could see through your bull. Because he's been watching from afar this whole time. It's just been a business stakeout in life, you know. That's why you go places. Now you go places. Your doctors don't know as much. Your nurses don't know as much. Your police officers just aren't as sharp as they used to be. You know, the businesses that you frequent, the people just a little bit slower than they used to be. But it's affirmative action. You know, you throw all these racial epithets, whatever, on other people, and say it's because of this, and it's because of that, it's because of this. And then you look at other people with affirmative action higher when you see the black person. But all these people got their job from it. And all these people got to say, because all these people turn around and say, no, they're the exceptional group in their group, which makes their group ultimately look bad over time, because it's like, wait a minute, y'all the exceptional ones and y'all this stupid? But see, they're exceptional at moving the goalposts, sleight of hand. They're exceptional at playing the game. But playing the game doesn't get anything done. So instead of saying, I know what I did is wrong, this is how these people hop from job to job to job to job to job, because people catch on to their incompetence, but they use the same exact affirmative action that they talk about with other people and blame on the brothers and some of the sisters for not being able to handle their business. This is how they go from job to job to job to job to job, because they use that same affirmative action, and then they have a history of being incompetent everywhere, but they only ask for certain references. So the only people that like them, because you got to have somebody on your team that likes you to keep up the network of incompetence. So the person that likes them and they're cool with, that's who the reference is. You know, so it's a hustle, because they never take accountability for their own incompetence. It's always blamed on somebody else. They're always pushing off the responsibility. And at the end of the day, I don't care if it's a white woman, a black woman, a Hispanic, an Asian, somebody gay, whatever, different Muslim, different religion. At the end of the day, all I'm going to act like is the black folks. It's them black men. But the beauty of that is, they all form like Voltron to make sure black heterosexual men didn't get hired in the first place. So this is how they wind up getting fired and cussed out, because there ain't no black men to blame. Remember? Last hired, first fired. That's why it's us. We out.